Okay, welcome back to this series about ergonomics in drumming. I'm Richard Paterson from the drum faculty at the ICMP Music School in London. And over the last 2 months, we've been talking with our in-house Alexander technique expert, Jane Gregory, about maintaining and the benefits of good postural habits when you're playing. So hopefully over the last 2 months, you've been setting up mirrors, looking at how straight your back is, looking at how well balanced your head is when you play. Today we're going to talk about something else. Now, a big enemy of drummers is tension when we play. A lot of things, it might be kind of the psychological effects of performing, the stress of performing, or it might be just from physically getting tired when you play. You can start locking up. You start locking up in your joints. Now, as soon as you start locking up, you start restricting your mobility and you get even more tight, and also you risk injury, because as soon as those muscles lock up, then they can easily start to strain, maybe tear. So one thing that I mentioned to Jane when I was coming for Alexander technique lessons is that sometimes when I'm playing, when I'm holding my arm up for the ride cymbal, if I'm playing a sustained ostinato on the ride, I can start getting tired, especially in my shoulder, and then I feel that joint starts to lock up. So when I'm playing this sort of pattern, arm up on the ride cymbal, maybe for an entire duration of a song, eventually, you can start feeling it all start to lock up, get tired, and you'll start trying to fight that. You'll try to power through it, but it's possible that's not the best way to deal with it. So I'm going to bring Jane in now and ask her what she thinks about the whole thing and if there's any tips she could have to help me out with that.
Great, thanks Rich. Yes, you're quite right. I think the important thing to say about arms is they actually come from your back. And we've got the shoulder blade here on the back, and the arm comes off of a socket on the shoulder blade. So when you're using the arm, you mustn't use it as a ratchet, and that's what a lot of guys do. So if you'll illustrate again, Rich, just by taking your arm out to the ride cymbal.
Yeah.
It's just a case of saying to yourself that this is not the end of the arm. The arm actually, in terms of muscles, extends into the back, and by not allowing the shoulder to become a clamp, then you will have much more mobility, as Rich was saying earlier.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about how we can involve our back more to help us out with this motion we're using the arm in?
Right, well, yes I can, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to draw on your shirt.
No! That's all right, I'm prepared.
If you can move around, we'll just... the muscle I'm going to draw is the latissimus dorsi muscle. There are obviously two, but I'm just going to draw the one to give you an idea of where that muscle starts and ends. And this is one of the major muscles which connects into your arm and actually helps you to extend your arm. So as you go to lift the arm to play, you should be thinking about not using the shoulder as a clamp, allowing yourself to use the whole of the back to lift the stick. All right, so we'll just start by drawing. If I don't mind, I'm just going to tuck that in so I can really see where I am.
Don't mind at all.
And the muscle starts at the base of the spine here, and sort of in a point like that, and we're going to come up all the way along the back to where we get the shoulder blade, and at the shoulder blade the muscle comes across and actually tucks into the musculature of the arm. So it's actually part of the muscles of the arm. And just to finish it off a little bit here for you to see, sorry, I hope you're not ticklish there, Rich. That's the sort of shape of the muscle. And as I say, it does tuck into the arm here. And there's another one exactly the same on this side, which tucks onto the other side. And that muscle is a huge, powerful muscle. So it makes perfect sense, really, to engage that when you're playing drums. So just to recap again, by lifting the arm and not allowing the shoulder to become tense, you are allowing some power to come from your back through the arm and into the sticks to play.
Right, Jane, thanks for ruining my shirt. Now, is there anything else you can tell us about involving the back when we play?
Yes, right. Sorry about the shirt, Rich. But yes, I think let's give the drummers an illustration of something that helps you to connect more with your back. I'm going to ask you to put your two thumbs together for me in front of the body like that. And remember, this is just an illustration. It's not an exercise that will be of any use to do, but this is the playing circle that most drummers are stuck in. And it's very much because our eyes are at the front of the body. We tend to work very much in this little kind of area here when we're playing. And the other way of looking at it is if you just put your pinkies together, and I'm going to trace this circle now, which goes all the way around the body. You can see that physically, that is a circle which comes around the back. So that is a wider circle of playing. So if you switch between the two, Rich, you might actually find that you can feel a little bit of a difference.
Yep.
Yeah?
It definitely seems to switch on everything at the back.
Yeah, you can feel your back kicking in when the pinkies are together, can't you?
That's right.
So that's just a little illustration of how the muscles do come from behind, and when you're playing, it's a good idea to just sort of think about that wider circle. It's a good way to start, before you to start to play.
Okay, that's a really good illustration of how to become more back aware and switch your back muscles on, bring them into your playing, not just use everything at the front. Share the work with what's going on behind as well. Thanks, Jane.
No problem.
So it seems there's a lot of support that your back can give you and power that you might not even have attempted to unlock yet. I find that if you're playing, it's the motion which creates a time feel. Now, if your motion is very tense, if it's locked, then that will transfer all the way down your arm through the stick into your sound, and you'll have a very rigid, forced almost sound. Whereas if you're allowing your shoulder to remain loose and not locking up at the shoulder, then that will keep your playing nice and fluid too. It'll keep the motion nice and fluid. You won't feel fatigued, and you'll be able probably to play for a lot longer. I did find that the best way to think about it is it's almost like flicking a switch in your mind. It's almost like pressing a reset button. If you feel the locking up starting to happen in your shoulder, you can remember about these muscles in your back. They can support your arm. They can help hold the arm up so that all of this can be fluid. Whatever motion you're using, it can all stay nice and natural and loose. Okay, so try that. Try thinking about that when you're playing. If you're having that sort of problem, that could well be the answer for you. And we'll come back next month with the last installment on Alexander technique.